There's currently rappers sitting inside a jail for committing very serious crimes. A few of them are facing life sentences, while others like Pooh Shiesty will be released soon because rappers are starting to react with excitement over Pooh Shiesty's release date announcement. A recent report reads, expect a court hearing for Memphis rapper Pooh Shiesty shortly. With good behavior, his release date is coming up based on these factors, where the report would go on to list several reasons for his early release from jail. When Shiesty was originally arrested, he created what's known as a proffer deal with the feds. However, many rappers looked at it as snitching, as Big 30 even had to go on to defend Pooh Shiesty and his rap name.
My mama, if you see his paperwork, my mama, I do whatever y'all tell me to do, cause my eyebrows, mustache, hair, I throw my chains in the river and jump in and if Shiesty snitch. Go on, take one to the ain't got no rat.
With rappers calling out Pooh Shiesty for allegedly snitching, we just saw Shiesty call them all out from his jail cell. To understand the message that he gave and when his release date is, we first need to learn how Shiesty allegedly snitched. As DJ Akademiks explains that Shiesty's current jail situation isn't normal for someone that committed his type of charges.
But salute to Pooh Shiesty, who looked like he's absolutely chilling in jail. My boy got a little Richard Millie, you know what I mean? Got the haircut all right. You know what I mean?
They be playing Fortnite Mobile.
In jail? Oh, he got the Timbs on. They look fresh as well. Yo, this so chilling in prison. He got 2 watches. Like, you know what I mean? Like 2 watches, not even 1.
As nobody that committed the crime that Pooh Shiesty did should be inside of a jail cell playing Fortnite Mobile. So in the original crime documents, it starts with Pooh Shiesty and a friend meeting up for high-end sneakers, including narcotics, from 2 sellers. Pooh Shiesty is seen arriving to the meet driving a bright green McLaren. While awaiting the seller's arrival, Shiesty and his boy are creating a plan inside of their vehicle to instead steal the items rather than pay for them from the sellers. So once the sellers arrived, Shiesty was doing a legit check on the sneakers. While doing so, his boy ended up going around Shiesty's vehicle, getting into a good position for what is about to go down between the 2 groups. So while Shiesty was negotiating on a price for the goods, he would cause a small argument with the seller. This was ultimately until Pooh Shiesty was seen grabbing a firearm from out of his waistband. You could see the 2 men starting to sprint away, trying to duck for cover behind their own vehicle, but they weren't quick enough. Shiesty ended up chasing the 2 men, using his firearm, hitting both of them, hitting one in the backside and hitting one in the hip. While Shiesty was handling the 2 sellers, his boy was in charge of grabbing the sneakers and narcotics out of the vehicle. He would end up grabbing the goods and chucking them into the green McLaren. Meanwhile, Shiesty's making sure his job is done before sprinting to his side of the car. With Shiesty opening up his McLaren door, the vehicle had what's known as a butterfly door, meaning the car doors go upwards. So with the car door going upwards, a Louis Vuitton bag on the side door pocket would then fall onto the ground without Shiesty even realizing. This Louis V bag had $40,912 in cash, and it actually played a huge role in the evidence against Shiesty, but more on that later. Now, Pooh Shiesty would end up driving the McLaren to the closest Miami airport, where he would rent a private jet, flying straight out of Miami, Florida. However, while in the air on the jet, he would post a few selfies, flexing the all-green McLaren that he just committed an armed robbery in on social media. This would then obviously lead to Shiesty being arrested in the following days.
The town of Bay Harbor Island says you're wanted with a
He's also charged with armed robbery, battery in their affidavit, saying the 2 left the state in a private jet.
Once he was booked into the county jail, he would be quickly bonded out by Gucci Mane for $30,000. He was on bond for roughly 2 months until he was officially arrested for the crime that he committed.
Mr. Williams, you were arrested for pursuant to an arrest warrant. It was issued June 3rd. It's charging you. You have 2 attorneys here, or is it? I'm sorry, 2 attorneys in the state. Go ahead. You want to announce again?
Brad Cohen and Sam Zegny for the defendant.
Right. Have you had a chance to review your arrest warrant?
Yes, Judge, we have.
We We would then see DJ Academics go and tweet, breaking, Pooh Shiesty sentenced to 63 months inside of prison. He was facing 8 years. As this is what started the entire snitching allegations against Pooh Shiesty, as he was supposed to serve 8 years inside of prison. However, he only got left with 63 months. As even just recently, Academics would reveal that Shiesty is already almost near being released.
And I think he's coming home like next year, maybe the year after. However, it looked like he's, you know, taking responsibility of whatever happened and doing his time, not crying. Clearly trying to let people know he's straight. And I do think when he comes back out, granted, as long as it's not like too far from now, if he comes back in a year, he's good. I still think even within 2 years, he's good.
As 63 months for firearm charges and robbery is extremely low, and it is for one reason. Let me explain. Pooh Shiesty created what's known as a proffer deal with the feds. A proffer is when the criminal proves additional detailed information to the feds relating to the offense for which immunity, or in Shiesty's case, a lesser sentence is then granted. Shiesty used a proffer deal to have his charges of 8 months in prison to life in exchange for only 63 months inside of a county jail. This is why rappers began calling him out for working with the feds and snitching. However, Shiesty's deal had nothing to do with snitching on others. All Pooh Shiesty had to do was snitch on himself. He also had to write out the mistakes that he made inside of this crime and basically confirming that he'll never do it again, as the mistakes that Pooh Shiesty wrote down that he made is absolutely insane and you need to hear them. The first mistake Pooh Shiesty made was that he committed an armed robbery right beside a police station. The video footage you see here is actually recorded from a police station camera across the street. So once the sound of firearms in the area were heard, several police cars started arriving to the parking lot extremely fast. With law enforcement knowing the exact location of the armed robbery, it didn't take long for them to just look through the recording tapes on the video camera across the street. Also, with police arriving to the scene as fast as they did, they are the ones that retrieved the Louis Vuitton bag, as Pooh Shiesty knew that he had no time to pick up the bag, as he was able to hear the sirens coming from down the street. The Louis V bag holding the $40,000 in cash was a huge piece of evidence, and it is also mistake number 2. Now, the feds already had an idea of who committed this robbery, but they still went to Pooh Shiesty's Instagram and they downloaded a few photos. In these photos here, Shiesty is stretching many $100 bills across of his body. Well, the feds zoomed in on these photos, and in the picture, you can actually see the serial numbers on the bills. With creative police work, they noticed that on one of the photos, the serial number on the bill matched the exact same bill that was found inside of the Louis V bag. This would then lead into mistake number 3. Pooh Shiesty left this one as the biggest mistake of them all, as he posted a selfie with the all-green McLaren that he committed an armed robbery in the exact same day he did it. Yes, you heard me right. Pooh Shiesty took a selfie with the sports car that he committed an armed robbery in, then an hour and 20 minutes later posted it on his social media. With this mistake going viral on social media for Pooh Shiesty practically having no brain at all, Shiesty's team would then capitalize by releasing a music video titled Gone MIA, where they would be flexing the all-green McLaren in the video as well. However, rappers continued calling Pooh Shiesty a snitch, and it was about time that he would end up responding to all of these rappers and ops that were disrespecting him. He would end up posting on his social media, King Shiesty tapping in from the middle of the penitentiary, aka a bad place, where they say I can't go, jailing no telling, I still remain untouched, millions still in double digits, tell Google to fix my net worth, we can verify it right now. I was 21 up 8 figures, Jay-Z can't even relate to my money, I tripled my followers, so stop playing with me before I buy one of you on sale. You guys aren't anything. I put on for the CG stuff every day and twice on Sundays. I'm on the same stuff from Tokyo to Tennessee, not gonna go fed, so start getting scared. Ain't no one ever played with me free or in jail. I'm still the man of Memphis, still the king no matter what jungle, slick almost the same man, just a little more powerful, talking about baby Larry. How are you gonna let a man in the feds outdo you? You can't even beat me at crawling backwards. You're gonna have to get your hand and stick game up before you could do some with me. Stop playing so much. For my fans, supporters, and loved ones holding me down every day, keep keeping it solid, and I promise it's not gonna go unnoticed. I see everything, and I even got something special for all word is law. The rest of you guys are done. Keep hating, false advertising, backbiting, and calling me out. It's up, and it's stuck like a treehouse. treehouse. I'm touching down. I got a Dorito on my shoulder and I'm going 100% on you guys. As I'm gonna pretend that didn't take me 10 tries to read that entire thing, but Pooh Shiesty is standing on his business inside a jail. And with Shiesty still standing tall, he would end up sharing another message during an interview before he was arrested, which really shows his true character.
Really, when I got signed, but I'm gonna tell you before I got signed, like breaking news. The verse on breaking news made everybody go crazy. And folks started saying I'm their favorite rapper already, so I'm gonna stop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It just made me go hard.
So the success kind of gave you the confidence to really keep it up?
Yeah, they rocking with me for sure.
Man.
It's in my first verse.
However, New York rapper Kay Flock will be sitting in jail for a very long time because there is serious issues happening inside a jail for New York rapper Kay Flock, as we would hear from one of his best friends named B-Love sharing that there's a lot of things happening to him that we don't even know about.
Okay, but so I saw some fans who were off at both me and Academics after Kay Flock got locked up because well, just because I guess, like, you know, in our tone when we talked about it, you know, it might have seemed like we were being a little too presumptuous. But is that weird for you? Because I'm sure you see people all the way from rappers to whoever acting like, you know, your boy is just done and he's cooked in this situation.
I ain't gonna lie, people, especially people that don't even be knowing, like, y'all don't even know what's going on, bro.
As interestingly enough, right after B-Love shared that, Kay Flock himself would then share this message from his jail cell.
I know what's going on, man. Flock, I know something, you man, like, free me to the guys, man. And yo, like, I'll be back real soon. Shout out to my fans and my supporters, man. I love all y'all, man. For all of you out there, violence, man. For me, and do what y'all supposed to do, man. For me, get through life correctly, bro. Like,
get money.
So, man, I'll see you real soon.
As fans are getting the sense that Flock's lawyers are trying to get him out of jail as fast as they can for one specific reason. And it all begins with the new court files that read, on December 23rd, 2021, New York rapper Kay Flock, otherwise known as Kevin Perez, was involved in a situation leading to the passing of a man named Oscar Hernandez. On this day, Kevin Perez was walking down the street in New York City. From the photos you see here, Kay Flock is seen walking past a barbershop with two other individuals who is allegedly his sister. Kay Flock, wearing the designer blue coat, was also wearing a Shiesty mask as well. While walking past the barbershop, Kay Flock locks eyes with a man inside of the barbershop named Oscar Hernandez. The two lock eyes for around 7 seconds before Kay Flock turns his head and continues walking. While Kay Flock continues walking, Oscar Hernandez quickly leaves the barbershop, screaming at Kay Flock on the street, asking, and I quote, "What are you looking at?" Kay Flock would turn around and a small argument would then brew up between the two in the middle of the street. With the two getting face to face, Oscar Hernandez makes a sudden movement like he's trying to reach for something in his waistband. However, Kay Flock, seeing that in self-defense, then pulls out his firearm from his waistband, causing Oscar Hernandez to turn around and begin sprinting back to the convenience store beside the barbershop. He wasn't fast enough, as Kay Flock would use his firearm, trying to defend himself, connecting to Oscar Hernandez's back, to which Oscar would then sadly later pass from his injuries at the local NYC hospital. All that was left at the scene was shell casings and Oscar Hernandez's slides that he was wearing. To this day, we're still unsure if Oscar even had a firearm. Why did he make the movement like he was gonna grab for one? And if he never did that, would he still be alive today? Well, the case was cold for 24 hours. No one was fully understanding what just happened or even who committed the crime, as Kay Flock was wearing a Shiesty mask when it went down. This was, however, until the NYPD posted this photo of the main suspect, asking for help from the public and see if anyone recognizes him. This tweet would immediately go viral as fans noticed this looks just like Kay Flock. The designer outfit Flock was wearing in the surveillance footage is the same outfit that he was flexing on Instagram Live just a few hours before the crime occurred. The NYPD then put out an arrest warrant for Flock, where Kay Flock and his lawyer would then turn themselves in to the NYPD, where his lawyer would then release this statement. Yesterday, I accompanied Kevin as he self-surrendered to detectives in the 30th precinct. Arrangements were made immediately with the NYPD once I learned that he was wanted. As to the charges against him, we have already begun our own investigation into these allegations, but more importantly, considering the DA's significant disclosure this morning of the NYPD receiving a tip saying someone else was the hitter, we demanded the DA's office to provide disclosure of the videos referenced in the complaint and more information on the tip. We will address bail once we have a chance to review the case and further investigate. Now, Kay Flock's lawyer was then given all of the evidence that the feds had, and he truly believes that Kay Flock was acting in self-defense.
When the guy hits the ground and is found, he's got a loaded that was in his pocket that his hand was on at the time. You know, we consider that to be self-defense.
So he did take him in self-defense.
That's what the allegation is. You know, I don't want to talk too much about the details of the case,
Okay.
but the government claims that he pulled the, but at the same time, the person that was around had his hand on a loaded, illegal loaded, apparently about Kevin.
Okay. So without saying too much, you're arguing obviously self-defense. That's the crux.
You know,
of the case.
that could be one of the arguments, self-defense. And I would say to the public, you know, somebody's walking up to you with a loaded, it's pretty clear is going to use it, with a criminal record a mile long. Do you want to get, or do you not want to?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't hesitate to pull the.
After the statement was made, the NYPD would then release their statement, as the police believe that this incident was street-related based on K-Flock's documented affiliation with the Bronx-based Third Side Street Team. It was documented that K-Flock is heavily involved in street-related acts. Being a huge name figure in the streets as well on social media, it could cause him to be a main target when his ops see him just walking on the sidewalk. And the NYPD believe this is what truly occurred. Now, due to these reasons, K-Flock and his lawyers are making the claim that this was all an act of self-defense, as his lawyers would then submit the paperwork trying to get a bail hearing with all the evidence that they have created. This would make news headlines, even making rappers react.
What's it like for you watching the K-Flock thing happen? That's crazy. Next big artist coming out of New York.
I love Flock, so I like that. I like that. That's my guy.
Okay.
But you know, I'm wishing him the best right now, you know what I'm saying? And you know, for the alleged charges they pushing on him, you know what I'm saying? I'm wishing his family the best. I'm wishing the whole team the best and everything, you know what I'm saying? And I hope he beat them alleged charges, you know what I'm saying? Because he got a lot of future brightness he got, and I hope, you know what I'm saying, everything just wake all the young kids up. Like how fat it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That would be a sad story if that's the end of the
No, man, we ain't gonna think like that, you know what I'm saying?
You gotta stay positive.
Then once things are looking great for K-Flock and it seemed as if he was gonna be released from jail, it would be announced the following day, and I quote, Bronx drill rapper K-Flock was just indicted by a federal grand jury for a bunch of new racketeering conspiracy charges, also known as RICO. This would have hip-hop creators reacting, sharing, K-Flock just caught a RICO, it's really over. To even DJ Academic saying, the feds just unsealed an indictment on K-Flock for RICO, the mandatory minimum if he doesn't beat those charges or snitch is life in prison. He still is facing the state charges that have him locked up. Pray for him, as this relates very well to what Boosie said about YNW Melly. When the feds want you, they'll do anything to get you.
Now they're putting even more charges on him, and then
when they want you, they want you. I knew they wanted him bad when they waited for that law to get passed. They waited all the way.
Penalty.
So it'd be 8-4.
Oh right. Yeah.
You know, they waited all the way till that law got passed to take him to trial.
Yeah, he was in jail for what, 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah, they could have been took you to trial.
You're right.
They waited till that law got passed and took him to trial a couple months later. When they want you, man. Just don't see how he didn't get a bond after a fucking mistrial.
Yeah.
That made me like, God damn.
Yeah.
Like, after a mistrial, that doesn't happen, really.
As K-Flock should have been easily released on house arrest by now due to the evidence package that his lawyers submitted, but then he suddenly gets hit with a RICO charge. Even his lawyers agree, as they would react to his new RICO charges, sharing, and I quote, "We're not surprised by the federal charges, as we have been defending Kevin's state charges for over a year now. Considering the incident was a clear act of self-defense, it wasn't a particularly strong charge. But now that it is being used as a basis for a possible penalty charge is extraordinary. On video, it is crystal clear that Kevin was about to be affected after attempting to walk away from the other person. Only then did Kevin use an item to defend himself from another armed man, a team member who is gonna pull out his item out of his pocket. It's very clear the feds are using all the tactics they can to build evidence on K-Flock to keep him inside of jail. They're even going as far as going at his co-defendant, trying to get him to snitch on K-Flock, as they're asking him for info. Academics would tweet, K-Flock's co-defendant Sticky says that they came to him asking to snitch on K-Flock, and he told them, and I quote, "No, I'll see you in 30 years. Sharing this Instagram photo is Sticky and K Flock on the street in New York City. It has a caption on it saying, "We did stuff at RL together. Guess we gotta defend our freedom against these people together too. It's all fun and games until them people come. They said, tell us about Kevin, help yourself. 30 years is a long time. Well, I guess I'll see y'all in 30 years. Now, this is great and bad news for K Flock. The great news is his co-defendant is gonna stay loyal to him all the way until the end, and it doesn't seem like there'll be any snitching against him, just like the YSL Rico case. This was, however, until a report the following week would show K Flock inside a jail, where it's pretty obvious that he was on FaceTime with everyone in the free world, as on these screenshots, K Flock looks a little worried inside a jail, and it almost seems as if he's been crying inside of his jail cell. It's not looking like the regular, confident K Flock we're all used to seeing, but you tell me what you think. Another rapper in jail going through a very hard time is YNW Melly. There is a massive problem with YNW Melly inside of the Florida County Jail. It's so bad that Melly's mother started a petition to just have law officials look into it. 50,000 signatures later, and we have still heard nothing. YNW Melly's mom has now had to take it public during an interview to state the following.
When you saw Melly's statement, just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life, as a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We've tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because I know that they need to answer to someone too.
This has been an issue for a very long time. Apparently, YNW Melly doesn't even get to look at his own mail that is sent to him or even use a phone.
My son has not been convicted of anything. And even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to just to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail, they don't give it to him.
This has now led to Melly's mother, Jamie King, running into health concerns due to the stress of everything, as even during the original YNW Melly trial, we saw Melly having to ask his mother if she's okay inside of the courtroom.
Sorry.
We'll just don't do it.
And now with the second YNW Melly retrial about to begin, Boosie would go on to explain that this is not going to be easier for Melly's mother going forward.
Okay, so
then I met his mama while he was in.
Oh, okay.
I met his mom while he was in, and she real, bro. You know, she real.
She's stressed out. I heard she had a.
Yeah, she real, and I reached my hand out to him, cause I'm real. Yeah, I reached out to him, bro. I met his mom, and she a good woman, bro. And when I see them mamas like that, it remind me of what my mom was going through, bro.
However, it gets even more concerning on the side of YNW Melly's life, as there is new evidence being revealed within the last week alone that would leave Boosie sharing that when the feds want you, they'll do anything to get you, which could be a result of why they are treating Melly the way that they are inside a jail.
Now they're putting even more charges on him, and then
when they want you, they want you. I knew they wanted him bad when they waited for that law to get passed. They waited all the way.
Penalty.
So it'd be 8-4.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know, they waited all the way till that law got passed to take him to trial.
Yeah, he was in jail for what, 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah, they could have been took you to trial.
You're right.
They waited till that law got passed and took him to trial a couple months later. When they want you, man. I just don't see how he didn't get a bond after a fucking mistrial.
Yeah.
That made me like, God damn.
Yeah.
Like, after a mistrial, that doesn't happen, really.
As the new evidence that the lead prosecutor found on YNW Melly is a result of sharing too much on social media. The lead prosecutor teamed up with Danny Polo to investigate through YNW Melly's social medias, to which they found a very concerning pattern. YNW Melly started posting frequently on his Instagram and Facebook account, stating that he is also a part of YSL.
Same thing, the use of the slap term, 5-point star, snake. He's saying he's YSL, he's hanging with Young Thug, and he puts up his YNW for life hashtag on it with the 5-point star as well. Mr. Demons has the Big B hand signs displayed.
Okay, and see the individuals again. I'm assuming that's also Young Thug. That's also unknown.
Yes.
Also important to your investigation, correct?
Yes.
Also publicly available for anyone to see and capture.
Now, this would end up revealing that YNW Melly's team, YNW, has street ties connected to Young Thug's team, YSL, who is also a part of a YSL RICO case right now. We would even see Bryson Paul tweet, Detective Danny Polo on what SLAT means. SLAT means sliming up all the time. This came out of the YSL language, and the Reds started copying it. YSL, the team, is made up of Reds. In the photo, YNW Melly is with Young Thug, who is currently on trial for RICO. The YSL team is also throwing up the red signs. Prosecutors believe that YSL is connected to YNW. Street members and street teams, they often do share a lot more on social media than what they should. Even just as a couple of weeks ago, a man named J Hood, a close friend of late King Von, shared a secret that Melly told King Von that he was never supposed to share.
Did Von really tell you that Melly told him that he was two friends?
He ain't come out and say, like, we got into an argument. And so, you know, if you know, when people could say something without saying it. And so he told me, like, once I posted what I posted, Von was mad at me. Bro, why you put up there, bro? What the bam? I'm like, you sitting up here, like, you know the love we got. You do this for us, but you gonna trust that his two friends? And he said, them was trying to extort him. And so I'm like, if they was trying to extort him, then why are you still around them?
As he revealed that allegedly Sack Chaser and Juvie were going after YNW Melly for financial gain. With what we know so far about King Von and what he has done criminal-wise, many are starting to connect the dots that maybe King Von gave YNW Melly a few pointers on what to do about his issue with Sack Chaser and Juvie. As when you connect this to the new evidence that is being added to the lawsuit against YNW Melly, you start to see a different picture that is painted on what truly happened to Sack Chaser and Juvie. Now, in the coming weeks, YNW Melly will be returning for his retrial, but he's also now facing a new lawsuit against him from the families of Sack Chaser and Juvie. As the report goes and reads, this is the video we requested from prosecutors in the state of Florida versus Jamel Demons. We have the honor of representing the family of Christopher Thomas, aka YNW Juvie. Melly's defense attorneys filed a motion for protective order to prevent me from obtaining the video, as the video was on Melly's cell phone, and it was recorded a month after he allegedly got his two friends. It doesn't show a man in mourning or seeking answers for his lost friends, and instead it mocks them, if not takes credit for it through false expression.
No regrets for the shit I did. That also means for the nigga. Yeah. 4:30 a.m. Never say when.
As they were also using the evidence from Melly's cell phone against him in the lawsuit, such as the text message where YNW Melly literally admits to doing the crime.
The PZ Gambino account asked him if he was okay, and his response was, I did that, and placed a smiley face emoji.
And the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02, the YNW Melly account says what?
After that, SHHHH.
While also sharing two important pieces of evidence shared during the original Melly trial that connects with each other. The evidence from Sergeant Williams, where he would reveal that there is no way this could have been a drive-by, and the person that committed the crime had to have been sitting in the back left seat.
Assignment, which is to determine if this is a drive. And my determination was that this is not a drive-by, and it's based upon this picture here, which is a very good picture to describe it. All of these rounds are done. One is done at a stationary position. The at a stationary position when all but one of these rounds are going in. The one round that has some movement in it, which is round site L here, the actually moving in that to create the little bit of a that you see there.
Okay, a lot of information in that answer, so let's break it down a little bit. You mentioned so I'm gonna zoom in on site F. Number, you said 17 outside the car. How many rounds were inside the car?
3.
And can you exclude the for Mr. Williams and Mr. Thomas as coming from outside of the car?
Yes. From the driver's side back seat.
As to the shot that Christopher Thomas, where did that come from?
Driver's side back seat.
No. Is it possible for there to have been 2 inside that car?
No.
Why not?
There is no time.
As it connects to what YNW Juvie's mother said while on the stand, where she would go and reveal who was sitting where inside of the vehicle, and more importantly, who was sitting in the back left seat.
Can you state your name, your full legal name for the jury?
Leon Phillips.
Okay. And are you related to one of the victims in this case?
Yes, I am.
How so?
I'm his mother.
And who is that?
Christopher Thomas.
Pause it at 2/19/15. Ms. Phillips, did you see who entered into the occupants who entered into that gray Jeep?
Mm-hmm.
And is that a yes?
Yes.
Do you recognize where your son entered that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Which seat, if you can identify for the jury?
He got in the back seat on the right hand side.
Did you recognize the individual that got into the back seat on the left side, the rear driver's side?
Yes.
And who was that individual?
Jamel.
And Jamel, is that the defendant, Jamel Demons?
Yes, ma'am.
As this lawsuit has added even more stress to Melly and his mother's life. Fans even believe that this is why YNW Melly's mother announced a new special account for her fans to subscribe to, which has made many YNW Melly fans very uncomfortable, as this gives fans the idea that Melly's court case is using up all of his money, and now he needs even more money for the lawsuit from YNW Juvie's family. As No Jumper would report, Melly's mom reveals that she made $40,000 her first day.
Why did you decide to break the internet the other day? You're saying that you're YNW Melly's mom and you're about to hit fans.
Why not? You make money while you sleep, and you know, I turned 40 this year. Why not do something crazy?
Did you start it yet though?
What? My only? Yeah.
How much you made the first day? I just need to know the first day.
The first day was pretty epic. It was pretty epic.
Give me a ballpark figure.
Like 40-ish, 50.
One day?
Day one.
With it truly seeming like nothing can go right for YNW Melly, it is only things that are going wrong, YNW Juvie's father would want to even give the prosecutor even more evidence to use against Melly. He would hop onto an emergency interview recently. He would expose how YNW Melly and Bortland were witness tampering, and even what code words that they used to make Melly's ex-girlfriend not testify against him in the original trial, which, if this is found to be true, is extremely illegal.
Both Melly, Jamel Demons, YNW Melly, and Cortland Henry, who is known as YNW Bortland, are now charged with witness tampering. It sounds like the prosecutors are saying there was this kind of crazy way that Melly was communicating. He wasn't allowed to use the phone, but he was passing notes to people, and then this person's calling this person, and then that person.
Saying like to me, they're going through extreme measures to try to cover up or convince people not to testify, like Mariah mom. They was using code words like Rihanna and A$AP Rocky's baby mom. And
however, it gets even crazier as YNW Juvie's father would share what happened on the morning of the crime from his perspective. The moment that he got the call from law enforcement and had to drive down to the police station to clarify that if it was his son or not that was there. While he was driving down to the police station, YNW Melly's mother would tell him something pretty weird.
He wasn't, he had switched vehicles. At least that's what they said in the first trial, that he had gotten into, it was suggested through a defense witness, the one and only defense witness, that he had gotten into that other vehicle.
Yeah, they were telling me that I drove down there that morning to go identify Chris. I met Moretti down there that morning, another 26. And on the way down there, when I talked to Jamie, she told me the same thing. Like, don't talk to the media and tell them Melly wasn't there. Instantly, my antennas went up because I didn't understand. Like, I knew from that day, I knew something was up.
As Juvie's father is dropping insane evidence that we have never heard before, and when it's investigated, it tells a very weird story. He would then, however, end the interview sharing the last moment that he saw his son, and that he was with YNW Melly on FaceTime when he saw him.
Last time I spoke to Chris was like 2 days before the incident. Him and Melly FaceTimed me, and that's the last time I saw him. Last time I spoke to him was like that same week, man. It just hurt me to see that the love that he had for Melly to do that to him. I see if it was one of his enemies or somebody, he did something wrong or something, but the way it happened, how it happened, who did it, it just, heartbreaking on both sides.
All of this legal wrangling that's leading to a delay in the second trial, how are you?
I'm taking it one day at a time. You know, you got to go through this process once again. Gotta relive it once again.
However, a famous rapper that seems to maybe get released early from jail is Young Thug, as during the YSL RICO trial, the prosecutors against Young Thug are getting very desperate. They're losing this case every single court session, which obviously makes Young Thug really happy, as even today it was reported, and I quote, Young Thug and his defense team's reaction to the DA asking a witness, "Are you afraid of Jeffrey Williams?"
You said you now know who Jeffrey Williams is. Are you afraid of Jeffrey Williams?
No, I know who he is.
Hold on, man. Hold on. All right.
Which obviously you are not allowed to ask a witness this while on the stand, and even a viral comment would go and share. What I want to understand is, are they trying to waste his time and make him spend years there without having any evidence to weigh against him? Which is exactly what they are doing. However, online lawyers have expected that Young Thug's lawyer will be making a move for his release soon. As one of them would state, Young Thug's legal team is expected to push for a mistrial. The rapper's lawyers have clearly won over the jury, while the prosecutors provided little to zero evidence against him, as the jury has loved everything that Young Thug's lawyer has done for his client. Brian Steele even made Young Thug himself cry inside of court when he would state that he would put his life on the line for his client Young Thug.
I mean, I'm not saying anything, but if true, that's a pretty serious accusation.
If true, I'll right now. How about that, Judge Glanville?
Your Honor, I object to this.
I don't care about her objection. I'm speaking with the
Your
court.
Honor, I object.
I'm
I'd like to
speaking
level
with
an
the court.
objection.
Okay.
I'm speaking
Let
with
him
the
finish,
court.
and then you can state your.
My point is,
as sources inside of the courtroom stated that after Brian Steele said that, Young Thug was seen to have a tear in his eye and he was almost looking a little emotional, making it very obvious to Young Thug that he made the right decision with his lawyer staff. Brian Steele has been putting in the work for him in and out of this courtroom. He's even angry with the court system on how they have been treating his client Young Thug. And it would be announced, Young Thug's lawyer is fed up and he calls the judge in this case biased against either him or his client.
Want to move the case, but when the court, it gives me no pleasure in saying this. I believe that this honorable court is biased against Mr. Williams and or his counsel, and I ask you to consider recusing yourself or don't do this again to me. This is inappropriate to me. I respect you, but what am I supposed to do? Sit there while you do this? I didn't do anything wrong. I did exactly what you teach me to do and the courts teach me to do.
All right.
But instead, no, I gotta finish this. Then I get told to this court says by Prosecutor Love that I'm not being candid with the court and I'm misrepresenting because Mr. Bean never went to the hospital at Grady on September 11, 2013, and Miss Love has a document on her desk to prove it.
Doing that inside of a court setting and basically calling out the judge for not doing his job correctly is extremely rare. But Young Thug's lawyer is completely right in this situation. If it wasn't for the judge dragging the trial forward, it would already be over. We're even seeing rappers react by saying this YSL RICO trial doesn't even seem real. Either Thug is snitching low-key or he paid everyone off, as that is how unbelievable this trial is. As it would then be for Thug's second attorney to come to the stand. He would basically state the state prosecutor can talk the ears off of a donkey and that this trial just needs to be mistrialed already.
For giving me the moment to speak. Thank you.
Your Honor, I apologize for interrupting the state earlier, but the state can talk the ears off a donkey. This continued filibustering has got to stop so that opposing counsel can speak.
Which obviously the state prosecutor didn't appreciate him saying this at all, where she would then stand up, start arguing with the judge as well as all of Young Thug's lawyers, and all while everyone is arguing back and forth, Young Thug is seen trading his snacks back and forth with a YSL member, watching and laughing at the arguing. As it would then be this moment why Brian Steele is making the big money and why he's the #1 lawyer in the United States at the moment, where he would end up taking complete control over the entire courtroom, making everyone focus on the task at hand, as he would singly call out the Atlanta Police Department for lying about evidence against Young Thug, which reads, "Your Honor, as my eyes roll, I'm about to show you why I don't believe the City of Atlanta Police Department at all."
I have
no recording of whom.
Detective Lewis at the hospital, Grady Hospital, September 11, 2013, meets with Walter Murphy. And Your Honor, as my eyes roll out of my head, I'm about to show you why I do not believe the City of Atlanta Police Department at all. This is served in discovery. I will mark it Mr. Williams C and D. And then you tell me if I'm supposed to believe the allegations from the state of Georgia.
As let me remind you, not only has Brian Steele now called out the entire Atlanta Police Department, but he has also called out the judge for lying as well. Burning this many bridges in the court system, he is putting everything that he has on the line for his client Young Thug, and if you realize that, you'll truly appreciate his efforts, as this is exactly why it's getting heated inside of the courtroom, and let me explain. The judge would call out Young Thug's attorney for stating the Atlanta Police Department lies about evidence, almost as if the judge is trying to somehow make the police department look better to the jury, which he is not allowed to do.
Well,
not conceding that?
Well, I'm going to tell you that I haven't heard anything that would indicate that's truth.
Yeah, well,
you have a good faith basis to ask that.
You haven't heard anything of who he spoke with. That's my point.
That's the point. But you all can't. But you two, neither one of you can proffer that.
Judge,
it's not proper, Mr. Steele.
No. Listen.
It's not. It would be a violation before me for you to put that in front of this jury.
In the September 17, 2000.
You are saying to the court that you have a belief that there is another statement out there. There's not.
How can you say that?
Because it hasn't been brought up. If it gets brought up, then we'll correct it at that point in time. But right now, I'm going to direct you not to inquire that line. You don't have a basis to do so.
As the evidence that they are discussing is all based around a man named Adrian Bean. The Atlanta Police Department are trying to use evidence against Thug that Bean told them all the way back in 2013. However, the issue is Adrian now no longer says that he remembers giving the evidence in 2013, but the Atlanta Police Department are trying to push it through the court system when they are not allowed to. But the judge is just turning his head to all of the evidence. As the original report goes and reads, unlike Trontavious Stevens, Adrian is not bound by a plea deal. He was a part of a 2013 crime where 4 people were involved, but 1 escaped and was never caught. They need Adrian to snitch on Young Thug on the stand like he did to the police in 2013, but now he refuses. As Adrian originally snitched on Young Thug over a decade ago to the police, but since the Atlanta Police Department has taken over a decade to start the RICO trial, Adrian Bean has now allegedly forgot about the crime.
After you answer the question, what you have to do.
Because I don't remember nothing that happened in 2013. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
I understand. What I have to do is ask you some questions and determine what you do and don't remember. So, what is your response as to whether or not you recognize the images shown in Defendant's Exhibit number 8?
I don't remember.
All right. And I'm going to show you Defendant's Exhibit number 81. Do you recognize what's shown there?
No, ma'am.
All right. What about number 101 for Defendant Exhibits?
You see a car, but I don't remember it.
Okay, that's fine. Is your answer the same for Defendant's Exhibit number 82, number 89, and Defendant's Exhibit 90?
Yes, ma'am.
Lots can happen within 11 years. The crime did occur in 2013, but some sources state that YSL members likely paid Adrian off to not snitch against Young Thug. So the state prosecutors would basically ask him, did he get paid to not snitch anymore? But Adrian would go and reveal why he forgot, stating that he had a lot of issues go on within the last decade, from in and out of the prison system and even issues with narcotics.
I really don't have any knowledge about 2013, man. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. I don't really have any knowledge about 2013. Once I went to prison and came home from prison and done my time, everything that happened in 2013 or whatever has been put behind me and set forth. So I've been, working and just doing my thing since I came home from prison. I don't have no knowledge of nothing that happened 10 years ago.
With Adrian no longer snitching, the only person that is now gonna have hard evidence against Young Thug is the main police investigator. He has been following YSL and Young Thug for 10 years. However, Brian Steele would make him look clueless inside of the courtroom, as the investigator claimed that when the YSL snitch Trontavia Stevens gave the definition of the word slime, that he was actually lying on the stand.
Word slime, what does it mean?
Good question. That's a good question. So, the S is for slug, the L is for love, the I is for I, the M is for me, and the E for everything.
That is the only thing that slime meant to you when you had a tattoo put in your body.
Yes, ma'am, that's what it means to me. That's what that tattoo means to me.
Is slime ever used in any other kind of way? As by you or any of the people that
like breaking it down, how I did?
No, like the meaning of the word slime.
No, it's slime.
But Thug's lawyer explained that Trontavious was telling the truth, and even asked the investigator if he even tried Googling what slime means to YSL members, which he would be exposed inside of the courtroom.
Did you hear that, Detective?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Now, when you gave your testimony yesterday about you've never heard anyone describe slime in the way you just heard on Mr. Williams number 142, did you ever do a Google search?
No, I did not.
Did you know that question was coming?
No, sir.
You had no idea that the state was going to ask you that question?
No, I thought you meant your question.
No. Yesterday on direct exam, you knew that question was coming, right?
I did. I knew the state was going to ask me what slime meant, yes.
And did you do anything in preparation to say, I want to make sure my testimony is accurate?
I did.
But you never bothered to Google music?
Thug's lawyer Brian Steele had a hunch the entire time this guy wasn't even investigating anything for over the last decade. So he would expose his lack of research in front of everyone, likely resulting in him getting fired from his job.
Okay. Now, I'm assuming, I don't want to assume, you went through that entire Tumblr account to educate yourself for your testimony for the jurors, am I correct?
No, sir. This is the only post from this Tumblr account that I've reviewed.
You didn't look at all of Mr. Williams' Tumblr account?
No, sir.
How did you know to review this one picture?
Well, when the state asked me to review these particular tweets, this is one that was linked within one of the tweets I was asked to review, and I was asked to review this post from that link.
You weren't curious to know what else is on that Tumblr account?
I was not, no.
Well, since you come back, I'm inviting you to look at it if you want to. But every one of those posts has to do with music. Do you realize that?
Objection, hearsay.
It's not hearsay.
As what really won the jury over, and likely the entire court system, is when Brian Steele would stand on business once again and would challenge the investigator to go home, do more research on Young Thug, then come back with an answer. Which, having your lawyer this confident inside of the courtroom is an unbelievable sight.
Do you know, as you sit here, what all the other Tumblr posts deal with?
Objection.
Basis.
It would be speculation because he said he has not reviewed.
A standing objection. You do me a favor. If you come back, which I'll call you if you need, I want you to review all that Tumblr, okay?
Sure.
Account. And then you tell the jurors everything else that's on that Tumblr account, okay?
Sure.
And tell them if it has anything other than music-oriented promotion, okay?
Well, I would say even this photo has more than just music promotion.
That's great.
As this really seems like a joke and an embarrassment of the entire police department, having their main investigator at 10 years not even doing his job of investigating. The investigator, though, knew he had to bring some sort of evidence to court to try to make him look somewhat decent, so he would go and expose 2 rappers in the industry for having street ties connected to Young Thug. Where first he would go on to expose Lil Wayne, having the same affiliation to the street team Young Thug is in.
And are you familiar with who this individual is?
I am.
And who is that?
It's Dwayne Carter.
Okay. And does he have another name that he goes by?
He does.
And what is that?
Lil Wayne.
And are you aware, through any of your non-training experience, if Mr. Carter, Dwayne Carter, self-identifies as a member of?
I believe that he does.
Okay. Tell the jury if you need to stand with the stick and point to what those identifiers are within Defense Exhibit 31.
There's a large MOB across his chest, often used particularly by West Coast, but is used across the country. He has 5 red 5-point stars across his chest.
As the investigator is trying to prove to the jury that rappers do have street affiliations, with the second rapper he would expose is YNW Melly, where the 2 rappers were involved in a Facebook post together with an interesting caption.
Same thing, the use of the slap term, 5-point star, the snake. He's saying he's YSL, he's hanging with Young Thug, and he puts up his YNW for life hashtag on it with the 5-point star as well. Mr. Demons has big B hand signs displayed.
Okay, and see the individuals again. I'm assuming that's also Young Thug. That's also unknown.
Yes.
Also important to your investigation, correct?
Yes.
Also publicly available for anyone to see and capture.